been a busy 24, 36 hours for the Chicago Bears, and now it is time for Overreaction Monday. I dive into some overreactions following the Bears' 52-21 loss in Detroit. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's get to a Jaylon Johnson update off the top. We did a video earlier when Adam Schefter and Courtney Cronin reported that he could require surgery for his groin injury that he suffered against Detroit. Jordan Schultz says that he is likely going to miss the rest of the regular season with a groin injury that will require surgery. He says there's an outside chance he could return late if Chicago's in contention, but for now it's a devastating loss for the Bears defense. Now, Ben Johnson did his press conference about an hour after that, and Brad Biggs tweeted this out, saying that Ben said that Jaylon said it's a new injury, not related to the previous groin or calf issue. Says the team is still gathering information. He didn't necessarily say, like, in a light of, oh, it's not as bad as people are reporting, but he's saying it's not necessarily a re-aggravation. I don't know if that's better or worse. I kind of expect Jaylon to be done for the year. I hope I'm wrong. I think short-term IR is a minimum, which means he'll be out at least 4 weeks. I would guess a lot longer, and probably the whole season. Maybe like Schultz said, if the Bears turn things around and they're in the mix in December and he's cleared medically, he could return, but it doesn't sound like he's returning anytime soon. I'm guessing Wednesday or Thursday. We'll get more information on that, but it certainly doesn't sound good. We'll get to some overreactions in a second, but show Jaylon some love. He fought to get back after missing all of training camp and was playing pretty well and injured himself again. So hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later. Get the JJs going in the chat. All right, Overreaction Monday. We got a lot of them to get to. Is Rome Odunze, wide receiver 1, for Smokin' Jays? Bear down. You better believe it. He is the top receiver on this football team, and dare I say it, may not even be close. In week 2, he had 7 catches for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. He already has 3 scores on the year, and that includes a drop and another play that he could have made as well. So this is a guy who is getting involved and getting opportunities a lot. Clearly, the Caleb to Rome connection is a real thing, regardless of how good or not good you think Caleb is. Like, he and Rome are on the same page a lot, and that is very good to see. They were both top 10 picks last year. This is what we envisioned when the Bears drafted both these guys. We also envisioned some wins, and that's not happening right now, but I feel pretty good about where this connection is. And, you know, it's always kind of funny to do the on-pace stat stuff, but through 2 games, Rome Odunze is on pace to catch 110 balls, have over 1,400 yards, and 25 touchdowns. That's clearly not going to happen, the 25 touchdowns. The other 2, I mean, you know, I could see him catching 90, 100 balls and being a 1,300-yard guy, and certainly a double-digit touchdowns. He's already at 3, almost had a third one yesterday, which would have been 4 on the season. So I'm pleased with where Rome's at. I think he's clearly surpassed DJ Moore already. Is Rome Odunze officially wide receiver 1? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think he clearly is, and I think you guys do too. All right, is there just no hope for this pass rush? I'll go 3 Smokin' Jays. I'm not going to completely jump off the cliff here when it comes to the Smokin' Jay rumor meter, but I do think it's pretty likely, especially coming off the edge. Listen, Dio Adengbo showed some good signs in week 1, but it was against Justin School. We wanted to see it against 2 good starting tackles. Nowhere to be found. Montez Sweat, I don't care how PFF graded him this week. He's not visible enough. He's kind of like Tremaine Edmonds in terms of, like, he's a solid player, but for what you're paying him, he's not nearly productive enough. The interior, I thought that was advantage Bears going into this game. The Lions' interior really struggled against Green Bay. Not much of an impact whatsoever. I mean, Jared Goff was taking the snap, a lot of play actions, and was still sitting back there making cocktails before delivering the football downfield. He had all day to throw. It was tough to see. I mean, you just got no pass rush whatsoever. And then you find out later that the Cowboys are signing Jadeveon Clowney, $3.5 million up to $6 million. And let's keep tabs on this, because I think there's a real chance that Jadeveon Clowney will have more sacks with Dallas than maybe any player does on this team. Certainly would be top 2 or 3 on this team. And by the way, he's already missed 2 games, not playing weeks 1 and 2. And did anyone see Zadarius Smith for the Eagles? 20 snaps in his debut, 4 tackles, 2 TFLs, a QB hit, and a sack. Bears couldn't use that guy. Not saying he would have come here. There's been whispers about his character. Seems to fit in fine with me. I don't know. I just it's tough to see sometimes some of these decisions that have been made on this roster. Today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. The best daily fantasy sports app out there is PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day. Being right on PrizePicks can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season with PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. It's very easy to play at PrizePicks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections every week on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money sometimes. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Little doubleheader tonight, and I've cooked up a 4-player lineup for the occasion. I've got Baker Mayfield more than 233.5 passing yards. C.J. Stroud, a goblin pick, which is easier to hit. Demon picks are harder. Goblin pick to just throw 1 touchdown pass. I also have Ashton Genty to find the end zone. Doesn't matter how, rushing or receiving. If it's one of those, I'm good. And then Justin Herbert less on his passing yards. $20 entry to win $140. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right. Should we be worried about the offensive line? I'll go 2 smoking Jays. I'm not going DEFCON 9 here. I think there's been some good signs, but you're certainly a bit underwhelmed at times too. Darnell Wright's probably been your most consistent player through 2 weeks. The problem is he can't stop the false starts, so that's a concern. Jonah Jackson bounced back this week. I thought he played better. Drew Dalman's kind of just been okay. Certainly not what you paid for there so far. Even Joe Thuney's been a little less than stuff. I think he's been fine, though, overall. Braxton Jones had a good first quarter yesterday, but then he started getting thrown around by Aiden Hutchinson. And by the way, the Bears have 20 penalties through 2 games. The offensive line has been credited with 7 of those per PFF. And I know of at least 1, I think 2 offensive line penalties that have been declined by the other team. So you're really probably looking at more like 9 or 10 penalties through 2 games. Too many. I mean, some of those false starts, especially in the first game, could be cadence related. So Caleb could be attributed to a few of those, but there's been holds. There was a chop block yesterday. Braxton Jones had a hands to the face. Like, it's too many. It's way, way too many. And ultimately, it's not what you paid for. It hasn't been a disaster. I would say it's been better than last year, but the Bears have spent the 4th most money on their offensive line. This is not a top 5 unit right now. And I didn't expect that out of the gates, but I expected a top 10, top 12 unit. I would say you've been somewhere between, 16 and 22. Like, you've just been okay. Like, it needs to be better based on what you paid for. Otherwise, Ryan Poles just get the wrong guys again. Kind of hard to argue with the Joe Thuney pickup, though. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to blame him for that. So hopefully it improves, because through 2 games, it's been kind of underwhelming. Subscribe to the channel. We crossed 130,000 subs. Thank you guys so much. We're just going to continue to grow this thing. You guys make this channel go. Obviously, it's tough to be a Bears fan these days, and it has been for a while, but the support y'all have given us has been amazing. So if you want to share it with a friend, youtube.com/BearsNow. We'll continue to pump out content. Okay, less Swift, more Monungai. I certainly hope so. 4 smoking Jays, bear down for that. Ben Johnson said before last week he planned to give A, to run the ball more, and B, give Kyle Monungai more carries. Didn't really happen. He ended up with 7 or 8 carries, but mostly in garbage time. Steven Ruiz had the note that we hit on an earlier video that the Bears are -0.4 in EPA per run outside of scrambles, which is a 26.5% success rate. That is horrific. And let me make this clear. I'm not saying you just flat out bench DeAndre Swift. You don't use him. Like, he should be a part of this thing. But what did we say all offseason? Get someone to pair with him. They just didn't do it. Like, the draft, they got a little unlucky with how it fell. But, you want a guy bad enough, go get him. That's what I say. There were plenty of backs in this draft Hell, Ollie Gordon went in the 7th round to Miami, and he's looked pretty good so far. DeAndre Swift has just been fine. He's been DeAndre Swift. He leaves meat on the bone because he doesn't have great vision. Yeah, he can create some chunk plays sometimes, but you can't use him as a lead back. And quite frankly, 29 carries in 2 games, that isn't really a true lead back. Those are numbers you would expect to see out of like a committee. It's just you're not running the ball enough in general, and you're not giving someone else an opportunity. Mina Kimes had this note: of all the teams that have played 2 games, Chicago's running backs rank dead last in both EPA per carry and success rate. Dead last. And we can whine and we can bitch about Caleb Williams and we can say it's all his fault, even though deep down we all know that's not true. If this offense is going to work, you got to run the football effectively. And I said it all offseason. You need a more physical presence in there. Is that Kyle Munn guy? I don't know. But in the short term, that seems like a guy worth trying. 3rd and 4th and 1. Roschon Johnson's active. Why not hand him the ball in that situation? Otherwise, why is he active? Or give Munungai the ball. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think you gotta lean into this more if you're Ben Johnson, to take some pressure on Caleb and to try some different running backs. All right, do the Bears need to fire Ryan Poles? I'm going 3 smoking Jays. Pretty likely. Like, if it were me, I'd like to see it happen, but I'm also realistic. They did just extend him, so they're not going to fire him 2 games into the season because, A, what does that actually do in the middle of the season, firing your GM 2 games in? Like, what's going to change? Like, that doesn't really do anything for you. I thought this was interesting. Poles is not him on Twitter made this point. Quote tweeting an old Rappaport tweet of the Titans firing John Robinson. I didn't even know this. He signed an extension with the Titans in March of 2022, and 9 months later he was fired. So there is precedent to this. It's like, okay, just because you extended him doesn't mean you can't fire him. Now, would I trust the Bears to do that, even if it's clearly the right move? Historically, they've been cheap. Feels like recently they've kind of evolved past that, given Ben Johnson the money they did. If it is clear that over the course of the rest of this season that some key young players are not taking steps forward and improving, why would you keep Ryan Poles? I wouldn't give him another draft. I wouldn't give him another free agency period. It's like he's had 4 of those. Why does he deserve a 5th? Because you made a mistake and extended him? No. Like, he better get some good contributions out of these young players these next 15 games, because if he doesn't, keeping him really isn't justifiable. Are you out on Ryan Poles? Type I if you're still in. Type O if you're still out. Listen, as long as anyone's here, you're always still open-minded. Something can change, but currently I'm out. Like, I was one of these people that defended him for a long time, but it's hard. It's impossible to defend him at this point, which is why I did this video last night. But time to have a tough conversation, because there's just too many mistakes he's made and not enough hits, especially drafting. He is not drafted well enough at all across the board. So subscribe to the channel. Check that video out. Also, we did a full Jaylon Johnson breakdown on what his injury situation is. So if you see those 2 thumbnails, you're in the right place. Subscribe. Go to the content tab. All right, lastly, is the season on the line against Dallas for Smoking Jays? In terms of being a playoff team, the season is on the line. Now, I'm not saying everything this year is about the playoffs. Certainly at this point it's not. But if you want to have a chance to be playing meaningful games down the stretch, even if you're on the outside looking in, you need to win this game, man. Since 1990, only 6 teams have made the playoffs after starting 0-3. It's 2.5% roughly. Now, there's an extra playoff team now, so that data might be a little skewed. Maybe it's more like, over time, it'll show it's more like 4 or 5%. It's very low. You start 0-3, typically that number is 10 wins. You're going to go 10-4 the rest of the way. It's not easy, man, especially when you're starting 0-3 and psychologically you're kind of doubting yourself, especially for this team who's lost a lot in recent years. I think Sunday is absolutely a must-win game. You've got to find a way to beat this Dallas team, especially because that could be a team you're jockeying with for a wild card spot. So you need that head-to-head outcome. So got to find a way to win this game on Sunday. If you don't, it's good night, Irene. Doesn't mean the next 14 games don't matter. It just means that your chances of playing meaningful games down the stretch plummet significantly. All right, who you got? Speaking of which, Chicago or Dallas, who you rolling with on Sunday? Type CHI for the Bears, DAL for the Dallas Cowboys. who you got winning. And if you want to go above and beyond, go ahead and drop me a score prediction.